Here we are again with our formative assessment about classes and objects. And in the first four problems, we created an object called myWallet of type wallet. We used the wallet class to create this object, and we passed it an argument, the constructor, that is, an argument of 1,000. And then we used the take cash method and the check cash method and the add cash method to just do some stuff with this wallet that we created, right? We can take cash from the wallet, we can see how much cash is left in the wallet, and we can add cash to the wallet. And those are the in addition to the constructor, those are the three methods that are outlined here. And then finally, we're expected to write the wallet class, and it tells us to be sure to implement the appropriate instance variables, a constructor, and the instance methods that you used above. So let's do that. Let's write the class. Let's start the class. It always starts in the same way. Public class, capital W to follow the Java conventions, public class wallet, and we'll open our brace right here. I like to start by thinking about what a wallet actually has. In this very simple wallet, all it really has, has some kind of cash in it. It has some amount of money in it, and it's all in cash. There's no credit cards or IDs in this wallet. There's just some cash. So I'm going to create an instance variable, and I will give that private access. It's typical of instance variables. Private, and it's an integer, and it's going to be called cash. There. I just declared my only instance variable that I need for this class. Next, I'm going to build the constructor. It's going to be public because I want other code, like the code that I wrote up here. I want that code to be able to access this constructor. Public, constructors are named after the class. Public wallet, there's no return type for a constructor. Public wallet, and it takes some kind of amount as an argument. If you remember before, we gave it 1,000 pesos, this particular wallet, myWallet. So here I just declare an amount parameter, and whatever the user puts in, I'm going to store that information in my cash instance variable. So I'm, in the interest of space, I'm just going to finish my constructor on the same line. Public wallet, int amount, and I want this dot cash, the instance variable of this object, whatever object is executing this code. This dot cash is going to equal amount. And then I'll close my constructor. It's normal to put this on a second line, but again, in the interest of saving space, I'm putting my whole constructor right on the same line. And this will compile. This is perfectly allowed. Now I have three methods that I need to implement. It says in the instructions to implement the instance methods that we used above. So we have a take cash, and we have a check cash, and we have an add cash method. So let's do those one at a time. And notice all of these three instance methods are going to update or report, do something with this instance variable. So the first one, take cash, it's going to be a public method because I can access it from other code. It doesn't return anything, so I'm putting void as the return type. And the method name is called take cash. And I need to write a parameter here. I'll use amount again, because this time it's the amount of cash that the user is taking out. And so I'm going to subtract that from my instance variable. So a very simple way of doing that is to just say this dot cash minus equals amount. And that's it. That's my take cash method. It doesn't return anything, and that's a little strange for us sometimes when we're first learning about cash, about classes and objects and such. But really, it just removes the cache. If I want to know how much cache there is left, I got to use the check cache method, which is the next method that I'm going to write. It's also public, right? It returns an int because it's going to return the amount of cache that we have in the wallet, which is really just the value that's stored in this variable, this instance variable cache. Public int check cache, and it doesn't take any arguments. That was outlined up here. It says that use the check cache method, which takes no arguments, and it returns the amount of money in the wallet. So that's easy enough. No arguments here, so I don't have any parameters to hold those arguments. And I'm just going to return this dot cache. I'm going to return the value of that's stored in that instance variable. All right, we got one more method that we need to write. It's the add cache method. And it's kind of like the opposite of the take cache method in a sense. Right? It doesn't return anything again. It just adds cache to the instance variable, but it doesn't need to return anything to the person calling the code. It's just void. And instead of taking the cache, I'm going to add cache. Oops. Right? We need to say how much cache we're going to add. I can't just close that parentheses. I got to add cache. How much? I need to take that in. I need to take that amount in as an argument from my user and store it in this parameter. And all I'm going to do is add it to the cache. This dot cache plus equals amount. There we go. And that's my whole wallet class right there. I'm just going to close the brace, and maybe I'll just check and make sure I met the specification, right? I have an instance variable that holds the amount of cash in the wallet, and I declared the class appropriately up here when on the very first line of code, and then I wrote a constructor, and I wrote these three instance methods.